Hasta La Vista is brought to you by Green Hill Hostas. Hello, and welcome to Hosta La Vista, the podcast where the shade is cool, the leaves are lush, and the friendship's perennial. We are your hosts. I'm Betsy Peterson.
And I'm Mandy Olson, two hobbyist sisters who love this plant as much as you do.
Join us each week as we dig into all things hosta, the plant affectionately known as the friendship plant. Welcome back, listeners. We have a very special midweek episode for you, all about the 2026 American Hosta Society Convention that was recently held in Dublin, Ohio. We have some special visitors coming to the pod to give us their reflections on this convention. Well, we are going to start off first with Cheryl Lockhart.
I had a great time. I went with two other girls, but I met the founder of the Mid-South Hosta Society. His name is Larry Tucker. He lives in Memphis. I live in South Haven, but we have known each other more than 25 years. And we've all were members of the Mid-South Hosta Society, which is no longer officially in existence, but we think we are. We went up Tuesday because we didn't want to be worn out. Driving from South Haven up to Dublin we lost an hour, so it was a good 9 or 10 hours. I don't think we got there till about 8 o'clock, and we left at 8 o'clock. But when you go with two other girls, you got to stop. You got to stop, go to the bathroom, and get something to eat. And it was an easy drive. We got there Tuesday night. We woke up early Wednesday. Yes, we entered a few leaves in the leaf show. And I'm going to tell you, those people that enter the leaf show, they are intense about their leaves and their containers and their artistic displays. And they were beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The leaves were beautiful. I won one small blue ribbon and 2 red ribbons, and my other friend who wasn't going to enter, but we walked around her yard, picked a few leaves, she won a red ribbon. So I think we were very successful.
Wonderful.
We are not judges. The vending was wonderful in the garden. What's Josh Feast in the country?
In the country garden and gifts.
Yes, he was there. Bob Solberg was there. If I said it wrong, Botanophilia was there. That's Nick Turns and his wife. There was an Amish couple there that did things different than hostas, and I did get some sedum from them. The vending was wonderful. I was not disappointed. And the hospitality was to die for. It was so good. They did a great job. Oh, also the seedling competition. That is always fun. Have you ever seen that?
No, not in person.
Different hybridizers bring their seedlings. I mean, and they're huge seedlings of different kinds. And you get to look at them. They're divided as like the blue ones, the green ones, the medio, the red in the petioles, yellow, and it is so interesting to see what is up and coming in the hosta world, what we may look forward to in the future. And we had some good speakers. Don Rawson spoke about jazzing up the garden, and he was so funny. And our keynote speaker, and the second speakers after Don was a panel, which was Bob Solberg from Green Hill Farms, Dave Chopko, Rob Mortko, and Chuck Doherty, who is the president of the American Hosta Society. You've talked to him, I believe.
Yep,
I think I heard you talk to him.
Yep.
The keynote speaker on our banquet on Saturday night was Liz Hughes. She and her husband own the Groovy Plants Ranch, and I learned so much about. They're a young couple with small children, and they have worked to make that a wonderful nursery. If you ever get up near Cincinnati to the Dublin area, go to Groovy Plants.
Okay.
And we also went So then we started our garden tours. Carol Beal was on Thursday. She had a small yard, but it was just a beautiful yard. I took a whole lot of pictures. And in your booklet, of course, for each person, they set out a little biography of what you're going to get to see. She was a gracious hostess. We really enjoyed it. We went to the Stewart Garden. That's Marianne and Joe Stewart. And that was a conifer garden. Oh, my goodness. So many different conifers, different trees. They had hosta, but you learn a lot at these conventions. Not only do you learn about hosta and what may be coming out and what you can buy, you learn more about, this time it was conifers. Sometimes it's something different, but this was a very good educational convention. I enjoyed it. That was on Thursday. So on Thursday, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gardens. Okay, I love that. The more gardens, the better. We saw another garden called Michael and Nicole Small. This was my favorite part. We got to go way out into the country in the rural area, the farmland. And I live in Mississippi, and I live in a small neighborhood. So rural farmland, you got me. I love it. They had gotten good water. Nothing was burnt. Everything looked lush. Their hostas were beautiful. They have took 2 door frames and put a pergola over it, and that was sort of the entrance to their garden. That was a really cute, kind of a whimsical feature to their garden. We also went to Patty Estat's garden. She is a member of a lot of different, like the Central Ohio Hosta Society and the Ohio Association of Garden Clubs, Derby Garden Club. And you could tell it by looking at her garden. Lots of perennials, lots of hosta. I was not disappointed in any one of the gardens that we went to, and we got to see a lot. Yay. We did go to Jean and Dick Barbie's garden. They had a lot of daylilies and perennials, evergreen trees. He's a big hosta winner in the different shows. He's won, it says, we have won 3 best of shows and 6 sweepstakes at the national conventions. We've won best of shows in other garden shows. I mean, and they're just elegant people, such gracious hosts. On Friday, we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more gardens. And on Saturday, we saw 1, 2, 3 gardens, and then we went to Seeley's nursery. You know, we always want to buy plants. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, and we came back in our pilot with hostas for 3 ladies and 1 man, and 12 and 12 is 24. I bet I have 12. That's 36. And he had like 13. So we packed our car full. Let's see, 36 and 13 is like 49. We must have had 50. That was hostas. That didn't include coreopsis and the grasses and the sedums that we stuck in each corner. Of course, Saturday night, we got to go to Doug Beilstein's garden and his daughter's garden. They're way out rural farmland, and it's his house, and then just right over here, his daughter's house, and we had a wonderful barbecue, brisket barbecue, green beans, corn pudding. They had ice cream for dessert, and you could tour around both houses and see their lovely gardens. And he even had some things for sale. And of course, when we went to Mr. Hanna's garden, he also had some things for sale. It was called Janie Girl. That was named, that little hosta, it's not little, but you got a small hosta, was named after his wife, Jane. Aww. And it's a beautiful little hosta. I did not get one. There weren't that many left, but that's all right. That's okay. It didn't matter. But we, all in all, my impression was the Embassy Suites was great. I enjoyed the hotel. The theme Buckeye Fever was Buckeye Hosta Fever. was great. They even put Buckeye candies on the table that were chocolate and peanut butter. Delicious, delicious. The Central Ohio Hosta Club, they were gracious. You could tell they worked extremely hard to put together a wonderful convention. Indiana is next year. Is there anything specific you might like to know?
I would love to know if, when you were shopping for varieties, was there anyone that you were so excited to have found?
Yes, and I think I got this from Botanophilia, or else I got it from Josh in the country. My favorite hosta is Marilyn Monroe. I love that lovely hosta, green on the top, wavy leaves, white under the bottom, and I have a beautiful hosta. She sits up on a pedestal, and she blows in the wind, and sometimes the underside of the leaf will show her white dress.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a hosta there called 7-Year Itch, a beautiful gold, a big, tall, vase-shaped. So I had to get a 7-Year Itch.
Oh,
that's
good.
a Marilyn Monroe movie.
That's right. That's right. And I was very excited to get that. But I did get, when we saw Doug Beilstein, we were at his place of employment, and they were so gracious. They had small hostas in the smaller pots, $5, and they had a big selection of different hostas. And then they had the bigger pot up, $10. And then they had an even bigger pot up of $20. And then they had some various streakers that had no name, but streaked hostas. And I think they were either 10 or 20. My girlfriend, one of the other ladies I went with, she got 2 real pretty streakers. And so that was also very exciting to see the different streakers. And to have them offered for like $20.
Yeah.
And, we had 50 hostas packed in, and we packed them in every nook, cranny, corner, and then we almost had no room for our suitcases, and of course we threatened to put one of the other girls on top of the car going home. We were able to squash it all in. We were going to Beirut. They always provide a location on the hotel grounds to Beirut your hosta, but we also didn't want to do that if we didn't have to. So one of our girls, Linda, one of my ladies' friends, she's a great packer. So in our hotel room, we said, okay, we know how much room about we have. So we put, okay, here's all of yours. And we stuck them all in crates and boxes and bags. And then here's all of yours. And then here's all of ours. And then our friend Larry Tucker, who is an editor of the Hosta Journal, he lives here in Memphis, but he was going to visit and stay with his daughter for a few days in Chicago. Could you please take mine home? We said, sure. He says, I think I have about 5 or 6. Well, he wasn't right. He had 13 hosta, and big ones, not just little ones. His daughter being a first-time attendee, those hosta that were the seedlings, I think that's what it was, the seedlings that were in the seedling competition, they gave them away. I am not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I don't know if you can see me, but the one she picked out was like this big around. It must have weighed 20 pounds. It was a huge hosta. And I told Larry, I said, Larry, now that one's got to go to your daughter's house. We can't get that one in. But, and I did win a hosta as the Indiana people were introducing their up-and-coming Hosta Music and Friends in Indiana next year. They did a little song contest. So, like, they showed a picture of a hosta. One was, I think it's called Pocket Full of Sunshine, and then they had Stardust, and they had another song, I got it. I jumped up, Sweet Home Chicago. So I got that hosta. So, see, it was so much fun. Maybe you girls can arrange to go next year because it is so much fun.
Oh, that's
I've been hostying for the last month.
Yeah, you have. That's great. Well, thank you for agreeing to chat with us. We just kind of wanted to, just get a sense of what it was like to be at the convention. And, we're always trying to encourage more people to make it if they can. And,
yes.
Mandy and I are going to the Midwest Regional Hosta Society in about a month, a little less than a month now, Mandy, for the very first time. And we get to kind of see what you're talking about with all the hype and the fun and and all that stuff. So,
the best thing about it, all in all, and that everybody says that it's the friendship plant. Truly, I have seen these folks and have made wonderful friendships over the years, and I made new friendships. So I hope y'all have a wonderful convention.
Oh,
and thank you for calling me and speaking with me.
Well, thank you so much, Cheryl. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Talk to y'all later.
We caught up with our next guest, Andy Marlow, to hear his biggest takeaways and what really stood out from this year's event.
The 2026 American Hosta Society Convention in Dublin, Ohio was fantastic. It was incredibly well organized and especially appreciated by the people who stayed in the hotel was that it was in an embassy suites. So instead of just a hotel room, we also had kind of a living room as well. And since I travel with Steve Schubeck, who hauls along all these plants to enter in the leaf show, we needed that room just to store plants when the leaf show wasn't going on. But it was well organized, ran very smoothly, not many glitches. There are always, in an enterprise of this size, there are always a few little things. The leaf preparation room, I'm told, was too small and very hot. But that's about the only complaint I really heard. We did 3 days of garden tours, shorter times. On Thursday, we visited 3 gardens and then ended up at Dick and Jean Barbie's house for a barbecue, which was very nice.
Had you ever been through his garden before, Andy?
No, I've never been to Ohio before. I've driven through Ohio, but never stopped any place. Let alone visited Hosta Gardens there. So Dick lives out in the country. He and his wife Jean, very expansive and well-maintained garden, and that's where we had the barbecue. So,
it's wonderful.
And then we did tours both on Friday and Saturday. You could take the bus. It means it's kind of regimented and you live under the tyranny of the bus captain's whistle. So Steve and I and Janet Mills from the Hosta Journal, we drove ourselves. That way we could pick and choose which gardens we wanted to go to and also how long we were going to spend there. If you're taking photos, you don't want the bus captain blowing their whistle and urging you the bus. You want to finish what you're up to. So the tours are very nice, some exceptional gardens. The one I really liked the most was the garden of Beth Vilde. Over the last 5 years, a guy named John Butterfield from Ohio has pretty much dominated the Hosta Journal photo contest. I mean, he has won numerous awards, and almost all his photographs were shot in the Beth Vilde garden.
Really?
To be able to see the garden in person was a real treat. And Beth is just a wonderful host of the garden. She was also in charge of the leaf show. So she had a lot to do, but had the garden in perfect condition. Wow. And then a real treat was John had won all these awards, but had never been at a convention to collect them. And he was there. So I was able to get a nice photo with the two of them, the kind of symbiosis between them after the final awards banquet.
Oh, that's very cool. I was going to ask you about the Eunice Fisher and Alex J. Summers Awards. Can you talk about those for a minute?
Sure. There are really 3 major awards. 2 go to people and 1 goes to a hosta. So,
okay.
The Alex J. Summers Award is for distinguished service to the American Hosta Society and the genus Hosta. And the winner of it was Marcia Sully, who is I think 18 years has been the recording secretary for the AHS, but she's also been very active in her local Hosta Society in New York and in the Great Lakes Hosta Society, and held numerous positions, including president and so forth. And she gave a very gracious speech, and I really appreciated her getting the award. When I was elected president in 2019, I just was plunked onto the board. I had no previous interaction with the board members or knowing what's going on there. And she sort of took me by the hand and led me through the process and told me, you need to send this letter and you need to do this and you need to do that, and kind of really smoothed my transition into the presidency. And she has served as that sort of helper for 6 presidents now. Oh. So that was
wow.
That was super. And
well deserved, right?
She chose a hosta that she had hybridized, and each of these award winners gets to choose a hosta to be honored. And she chose Kaylee's Sunshine, which is named after her daughter. I have no idea what it looks like. I don't even know where you could find it, but it's important to her because she created it, both Kaylee and Kaylee's Sunshine. The Benedict Garden Performance Medal is the award, that big award that goes to a hosta. And this year it was Hosta Coast to Coast. And of course, the hybridizer gets to take home this cool little medal thing. And that was Olga Patrician, who likes to name things after geography, American geography. And Coast to Coast, of course, fits right into that. And the last award I had a lot of part in, I nominated Bob and Dennis Savory for the Eunice Fisher Award, taking a chance that the committee might decide that they could honor 2 people with the award, and they did.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then at the was it April meeting of the Minnesota Hosta Society, Dennis came up to me and said, I'm not going to be able to go to the convention, but I'm getting this award. Would you give my speech for me?
Oh.
Knowing the process, he had no idea that I had nominated Annette's father. So that, to me, that was very touching that he would come to me and do that. So that's exactly what happened. I had known his dad from the Men's Garden Club in Minneapolis back in ancient history, the 1980s, which I insist was 20 years ago.
Right. We're with you on that one.
And I've known Dennis, practically all that time. And between them, they've hybridized and registered a huge number of hostas. So, and Dennis chose baby bunting, which was one of his father's plants, to be the Eunice Fisher Merit Hosta.
Is it a very small plant?
Yes.
A miniature? Okay. I'll have to look it up. I know the name. It was
a miniature before miniatures were a big deal.
Okay. Wonderful.
I heard that the auction was pretty successful.
Oh, the auction, I think, probably was the most successful one in history. At least that's what they were talking about. I don't know how carefully they checked the records. Doug Beilstein, who was one of the co-chairs of the convention and a very prolific and honored breeder of hostas, has his seedling bed, which we went out to tour, and his auction offering was a chance to choose 10 seedlings from his seedling beds to be your own hostas. You can own them, you can register them, you evaluate them. And actually there was so much competition that they awarded 3 of those and each one for $475.
Wow. That is brilliant. I love that idea. Wow.
Part of it was Doug is kind of a competitive guy.
Okay.
Dave Chapko, who also is in this region, has always been the person who has donated the most plants to the auction that raised the most money. And Beilstein wanted to beat him. And so this was part of the effort. And it turned out they were tied.
Oh.
$5 of each other when it was all over.
Oh my gosh.
They had to share the award, and there's a lot of brotherhood going on.
Oh, that's funny.
They really are friends, but
sure.
Friends. And there's
Okay.
a bunch of other, the photo show awards or photo contest awards were given out. There are other awards for the seedling competition, which I didn't really pay a lot of attention to. I was very busy this time. I didn't even get to see the seedling competition.
Oh.
Because there are two levels to that. They have the experts go in and vote on the seedlings as to which one is the best, but then also the people who view the competition vote. Mm-hmm. And so there's a popular choice and there's the experts' choice, and they agreed.
Oh.
It was actually a Doug Beilstein plant.
Oh.
It was a beautiful medium-sized yellow, bright yellow, with bright red petioles that an arrow came up into the center vein of the leaf, an arrow of the red. It was just gorgeous. So it was well-deserved.
Are most of these unnamed, and then he will?
Oh, they're all unnamed, yeah.
Okay.
If they've been named or in the trade or anything like that, they're not eligible. So it's all brand new stuff.
Okay. So the likelihood of it becoming a named plant is pretty high, though.
Oh, this one for certain. I mean, some, but there were quite a few apparently in this in the show that had some possibilities.
Wonderful. Now, I understand that Hans Hansen came away with an armful of awards also.
Oh yes, the Benedict Performance Medal is sort of the culmination of a process. Hybridizers can enter their plant at the beginning, and members vote, and the top 3 or the top 5 get the award of merit. And then the next year, people vote on the award of merit, and the top 3 advance to the next level, and then 1 advances to become the Benedict Medal winner. And since last year, the Benedict Medal winner also becomes the Hosta of the Year. The American Hosta Growers Association, who always did the Hosta of the Year, disbanded. Mm-hmm. And a board of the American Hosta Society thought there ought to be a Hosta of the Year. The criteria are a little different than what the hosta growers had. Theirs was more of a marketing thing. They wanted the hosta to be widely available. They wanted it to be attractive. Initially wanted it to be under $15. But the Benedict Garden Performance Medal is usually more tried and true plants. Next year, It will be last year's Benedict winner, Clear Fork River Valley. Well, it's delayed a year to give growers time to get Clear Fork River Valley back into production.
Yeah.
So there are enough of them to meet the demand.
That is actually one of my all-time favorite hostas, but yeah, I understand it's a little bit harder to find and going to be harder to have on shelves for folks to purchase.
Yes, beautiful hosta, and I still remember the first time I saw it saying, what is this? There are a few of those plants. Lakeside Paisley Print.
Yep.
When I saw it, just blew me away.
Yeah.
Praying Hands, similar reaction.
Yeah.
It was instantly recognizable.
Yes. Yeah, I went on the Minnesota garden tour last year, and we stopped at Kathy Haram's house, and that's where I saw Clear Fork River Valley for the first time, and it had a beautiful martagon lily that had flopped over and had its big orange blooms laying on top of the Clear Fork River Valley, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is just the juxtaposition of the super dark corrugated with the orange of the martagon lily. I thought, oh, this is just gorgeous. I love this plant. So I dug around till I found the tag, and then I took a picture of the tag. So someday I'll come across a piece of one, but yeah, it's really neat.
Speaking of corrugation, one of the places on tour was, it was practically to Lake Michigan, I think, or whatever is north of Ohio. A hybridizer named Clarence Hanna, and his specialty is big hostas. And I love them big. I love them blue, I love them corrugated, and I love them cupped. And he had the most magnificent blue hostas in his seedling beds that were higher than my waist.
Wow.
He was like this, and deeply corrugated, deeply cupped.
Wow.
And I just loved it. But that wasn't the best thing. There was a very large green hosta, and I've got a picture of one of the leaves with my cell phone laying on it. And the cell phone is barely discernible down in the corner of the leaf.
Jeez.
And as we were leaving, we walked by the table where they had bottles of water. And there was this young kid here. It turned out he was Clarence's grandson, Dylan. And Dylan said, "You want my autograph?" And I looked at him and I said, "Well, what are you famous for? Why should I want your autograph?" And he said, "Well, I bred Alexander the Great."
Oh.
Was that hosta that the big green one. And I finally accepted his autograph, though he couldn't sign it because they don't teach cursive anymore. Even when he's going into the 6th grade, he had to print his name.
Print his name. Yeah,
I found out later that some of the people who had encountered him earlier, he wanted $1 for his autograph.
Wow.
For money, so.
Good job, Dylan. Way to take advantage. No, actually, listeners, if you haven't gone on the American Hosta Society website yet, there's plenty of pictures of Dylan in front of Alexander the Great, and they are not exaggerating. This plant is massive. And Karen Wright actually sent me a picture from the garden when you guys were touring there. She goes, "Look at this," and it was a picture of she and her husband squatted down in front of Alexander the Great in the background. And I mean, the plant just dwarfed them. They were so insignificant compared to this huge plant. It was really neat. I really wish I could have seen that one. But I understand it's going to tissue culture?
That's what I was told, yes.
Okay. Well, maybe it'll be in my yard.
It's a nice green hosta, so it should tissue culture well. It's some of the streakers and variegated ones are harder to be successful with, but
Sure. So, any other memorable, banquets or meals or anything you'd like to share?
Well, the main thing about going to a Hosta convention, the saying is you go for the plants and you stay for the people. Just the chance to hobnob with your fellow Hostaphiles and spend some quality time with people you see maybe once or twice a year who share a really important common interest with you is the main thing and the main reason I go to Hosta conventions.
Yeah.
I also had an assignment this year, as I did last year. The publications VP, Fritz Dragnow. I always just call him Fritz. And his predecessor decided that they would like someone to sit down and interview Hosta luminaries on video. And then post them to the members only part of the AHS website. So I did 4 of those last year, and they're up there on the website. And then we had 4 more scheduled for this year.
Well, that's fantastic. I've got to go watch those.
But that kept me out of trouble. Well, I don't know how fantastic they are, but go ahead and watch them. And I was bobbed. Bob Olson. Bless his heart, convinced me first to go to a Midwest regional in Rochester, and then the first national convention I went to, I think, was 2014 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And I've been going ever since.
Once you
get to be hooked.
Yeah, that's what I understand. And Mandy and I are going to our first Midwest Regional this year. The timing worked out and we could make it happen. So I'm already very excited about going and,
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, see what it's all about. I went to the symposium this winter, which was very fun. It's just kind of a taste, a single day, but it was wonderful, and I learned so much. I took copious notes, and I kept thinking, boy, if this is anything like the regular convention, I see why people go to these. This is great. How did they pass the baton to Indianapolis?
Oh, at the final awards banquet where they do the 3 major awards, they always end by letting the next year's convention group come in and do a sales pitch. And it turned out to be reasonably funny and reasonably good. They had a few technical glitches, but that's to be expected when you're dealing with all that stuff.
Yeah,
sure.
But the one of the issues is local societies used to be hot to have the national convention. Let's bring attention to our area. We're really a good society, and we want to show off. And now, no one wants to do it. So we are scheduled, the Minnesota Society, to do 2028. And there's nobody scheduled after that.
What's the reason for the pariah effect?
The 2 most often given reasons are we don't have enough people to do it. Our club is shrinking and we just don't have the people. And the other is we don't have the gardens to be on the tour. So.
Yeah, okay, I could see that. One.
That's also the result of shrinking membership. So.
Sure. Well, we're trying to combat that just a little bit, as much as we can, right, Mandy?
Yep, we're trying.
Getting the word out.
Well, I think this is a podcast is a way to reach younger potential members than a lot of things that the society does, which are geared to our existing membership, which is a lot like me, Hey.
As Andy taps his white beard. Well, Andy, I don't know if you're on TikTok at all, but Mandy, you want to tell the listeners what you're doing on TikTok?
Oh, I try and go out every day and take a 30-second video of a specific variety of hosta, and I talk about the history of it, and I post it, and there's been, pretty good followers and likes, and I think hopefully it's reaching a younger crowd. So I'll keep doing it, and there'll be a lot of fresh hostas over the convention time, because I think I'm not running out, but I don't know. I have a lot of young ones, so I don't know if I want to do videos of the real young ones. So
Sure.
Another gardener in your area who's has varieties you don't have, and go visit them.
You got it. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Go see Botanica. See what they've got.
Yeah.
You could do that. That'd be fun. No, Mandy posted one of road rage, and do you want to tell what happened?
Well, you put a hashtag in front of it, and so it was hashtag road rage, and it got a lot of views, and we couldn't figure out why, but it's because a lot of people like watching road rage videos, so it brought in a lot of interesting viewers, I think.
Hopefully you hooked one or two of them.
I know. Here's hoping.
No kidding. Well, thank you, Andy. We appreciate you, and glad you were able to make it home from your, what'd you say, 15-hour drive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Andy.
Well, you're very welcome.
And finally, we check in with Julie Lewter and Susan Ragsdale as they hit the road as the Hosta Road Trippers. Hi, Susan. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Yeah. On the road again.
Are you having a great time?
Yeah, we're having an awesome time.
So this chat is just a chance for you to tell me and the listeners your take on the convention. Tell listeners what your experience was like, and maybe what it would be like if somebody decided to go next year.
Well, we had a great time. We arrived on Wednesday, right before vendors opened, and had a great time with all the vendors, of course, There were some unusual vendors that they don't normally have, and that was interesting. They had a bonsai dealer, and then they had a guy who specialized in mini, and not just mini hosta, mini everything. I mean, some really tiny plantings and things. They were the Benedicts. That's who they were. They did really good with that, and then of course we had Uniquely and In the Country, and Bob Solberg, and Botanophilia, Nick Turns, with Botanophilia. So that was a lot of fun. We got settled in, and we didn't do a lot Wednesday. Thursday was great. The garden tours went great. It was really interesting to see a lot of the gardens, how they grew, how the hosta grew, the plants that we don't normally see. Of course, some of the older ones and some of the newer ones. Everybody seemed to have a great time.
Did you have a favorite garden?
Clarence Hannah's, of course,
Yeah.
I mean, Kirkside, the hospice. I'm always at home at his house, so that was, he had a new hosta, and I'm sure you've probably heard, it's coming down the pipe. Be registered this year, go to TC. He's going to have 5, but that's one of them. It's called Alexander the Great. 6.5 feet wide, 6.5 feet square.
Holy cow, that is huge.
Let me tell you, huge doesn't even begin to talk about this monster. It's just unreal to the size of it. But then there's a couple others that are nearly that big that'll be going. I think one of them was Sunrise Promise, and I don't want to mess up names here, but yeah, he had a couple, and it's always fun there. Always fun there at his house. Kirkside Hospice was probably my favorite.
So was Kirkside part of your tour 2 years ago?
Yes.
It was. Okay. I had forgotten that part. What other, reflections do you have about your time at the convention this year?
I worked at auction. I helped at the awards, and I helped at the auction this time. Had 179 auction plants. I moved at least twice. I had a good time doing it. It was a fun thing. I think they said that it closed out around $24,000 when they finished their tallies at the auction for the night. It was a rather long auction. It went for almost 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it started around 7-ish, and then we ended up around midnight.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow. How is anybody still awake?
And then we got up the next morning, and it was tour time again by 8 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
We all looked a little worn out, but everybody had such fun with the auction. There was a 9-eye bullfrog that sold, all these bullfrogs.
Wow.
And there's video of me holding the bullfrog sitting in a chair. I wouldn't let anybody else hold it.
So did you bid on anything?
I did, but I didn't win.
Okay.
But of course, I always bid on something, but I didn't end up with anything there. So, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun watching everybody else bid and the conversations and the funny what he does. So, yeah, that was great. We had some wonderful company. You know, there were some great people there. There was some unbelievable hostas in the auction. I mean, there was some liberties that were big as a car hood.
Oh my God.
You know, there was hostas. There were hostas brought down for an auction. Hans Hansen brought them, and from the Walters Garden, and they were just phenomenal. So it was a lot of fun watching it fold out and see what went for, you know, a lot of money. And it was so funny because one of the most high-ticket hostas was Monkey Business, and it's kind of a weird hosta if you've ever seen it. You got to look that thing up. It's a little different looking, but it's so funny because, boy, it went bing, 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 and it went crazy. He wanted that Monkey Business.
Okay. Well, now I'm curious about it. Let me look it up. Monkey Business Hosta. So it's got red legs. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And kind of a long, floppy scape that's got a darker center with lighter edges. At least that's what I can see here. I probably ought to.
It's an unusual looking hosta, and the formation and the way that it grows up. It starts like a vase shape, but then it gets these rounded type, flop down, turned down leaves, and they kind of curl a little bit, and so it's just unusual.
Huh. So who made that one?
I'm not sure who Monkey Business came from, honestly.
Oh, it's Marco Franzen.
Yeah, Marco Franzen.
Marco Franzen. Interesting.
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, it's really pretty.
It's very unusual, and I think it went for around 600. Yeah, it was phenomenal. But it was a lot of fun. They were having a lot of fun with it.
What other thoughts did you have?
Well, Don Rawson was our first speaker, and he's always what I might call a barrel of monkeys. He's a fun guy. And his talk was very interesting. It was all about cleaning up your garden. And he used his own garden as an example, and it was very funny. Some of the stuff that he put in the slideshow was just funny. But that was the kickoff. You couldn't get a chair in the room. 14 of us stood outside the door because you couldn't get in there to listen because it was so full.
Oh, my gosh.
I think we ended up, but I'm not sure how many actually attended, but it was pretty packed.
Well, good.
All of us stood outside because there wasn't even chairs to sit down.
Oh, my.
It was very good. It was a great group. It was a lot of people. It was a lot of fun. Hospitality was fantastic. I can't say. I mean, everybody was so sweet and so nice. They're very considerate. They were constantly volunteers, people there working really hard to see that things went good.
That's fantastic. Well, so what would you say to somebody who is contemplating going to Indianapolis next year and who has never been to a convention?
Enjoy and I do this a lot of times, enjoy the mentorship and the wonderful people that you will meet when you go to these, because most host people are open and friendly, and they have something to share with you. They really do have something to share with you. And for me, my highlight was meeting somebody that I talk to a lot, but I don't ever get to meet, Tom Hansen, and he's a wonderful guy. I mean, he works at Walters, and he's in charge of Walters at this point, you know. So, but every one of them are open and honest, and they're willing to help you learn more about hostas, answer your questions. I don't think there was a soul in the whole building that wouldn't have stood there and answered a question that you asked, regardless of how silly it may sound. If you are interested in hosta and what's going to happen with hosta, and even in the future, you know, come out. Enjoy the plants, enjoy the people, enjoy the socialization, meet some of the great people that have built hosta. You know, I got to see some of my mentors awarded. That was great because I've always looked up to them, and it was great to see them get awarded for all this hard work that they're doing.
That's one of the things that Bob Solberg tasked us with on the podcast, is just attempting to try to reach out to a broader audience and just let more people know about how easy hostas are to grow, how beautiful they are. They're not just that all green one that you see all over the place. And, you know, and my understanding is there was a young couple that came and bid like $1,200 on some plant, came out of nowhere and bid.
She bought, I'll just say her first name, Chelsea. She bought the 9-eye Wally that I held, and they bought some beautiful plants. And it was so encouraging to see somebody their age, and I would say they're in their 20s, out there really interested in hosta, and not just any hosta. You know, she was really selective and driven, and she really loved every one of them. You could tell by the way she handled the plants. I handed her every plant she bought, and she could tell she just truly did love the plant. So it's really great to see that, and that's something we should be encouraging. Bob is 100% right. The future of the AHS and hostas is not in our hands so much as it's going to be in their hands. And so got to educate people. They have to learn what they are. You know, they have to learn to love them the same way, and find an interest in hosta.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be only 6,000 registered hosta out there, but there are 10,000 or more varieties. You know, and so a lot of hostas out there, and a lot of different looks, and they're such sturdy plants. They really are. You know, so that's what we have to do. We have to teach good husbandry, and, you know, and how to take care of plants, and, you know, make them interested in learning about it. Because I tell people all the time, I wish I could walk around sometimes with a recorder, because the information that some of the people have out here in the hosta world is just totally invaluable. It is totally invaluable, and it will not pass this generation. It will not pass my generation, because it'll be lost to us, because nobody's there to share it. And that's the great thing about it. You know, I said, if you can call the hosta the friendship plant, well, friendship is about sharing, about caring, and about being with people. And hostas are very much about that, you know.
Yeah.
If you go to convention, you will see we stand around and we hug and shake hands probably 90% of the time, or we're at least, you know, we see people that we haven't seen in years. I saw two gentlemen that hadn't seen each other in 20 years.
Oh.
They were ecstatic to see each other. You know, a guy from the UK had been over here, you know, and he was here, and several people were just absolutely thrilled to see him, you know.
Yeah.
May have been 20 years since they saw him last, but it's a lasting friendship for sure.
Yeah.
Hostas are capable of causing lasting lifetime friendships. But come to Indy, you know, I'm telling you, we'll have fun. It's always fun. It's always great. I would highly encourage anybody that's interested in hosta, in the nature of hosta. You want to grow hosta, and you want to understand how to grow hosta better, bigger, prettier, or why your hosta's not growing. If you just want to figure out what's going on there.
Yep.
There's always a voice at any of the conferences, and the convention in Ohio was a wonderful group. It was a great convention.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm out. I know it's an expense, but it's worth every penny if you truly want to learn about hosta or just see the beautiful gardens.
Yeah.
Always fun to see those. We were at hybridizers, Doug Beal things, and you get to see the nature of hybridizing and all its glory. And then you understand the hard work it takes to get that plant to market. So.
Wonderful. Well, any notices or thoughts or anything before I let you go?
It was just a great time to be had. It really was. And it was Susan's first one, and she had a great time. And there were a lot of first-timers there that, Cheryl and that group we had just finished regionals and came up there. And so they all had a good time. A good many of our group that came to regionals showed up, they went to DHS also, so.
Good luck, ladies, on the rest of your road trip. We'll talk to you again another time.
Yep.
Okay. Take care. Thanks, ladies. Bye-bye, Julie. Bye, Susan. Thanks so much for listening. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, wherever you like to tune in. Have a question or want to connect? Email us at hostalavistapodcast@gmail.com or visit our website at hostalavista.org. We hope to see many of you soon at the Midwest Regional Hosta Convention in Madison, Wisconsin. And until next time, hasta la vista, baby!
Special thanks to Green Hill Hostas for sponsoring Season 2 of Hosta La Vista. Green Hill Hostas, home of great new hostas.
And In the Country Garden and Gifts. This is Hosta Country. Visit their website at inthecountrygardenandgifts.com.